Well, we're back. It's a bit of a bonus episode of the Speedway Insider today, and it's just a solo episode. It's kind of gone back to the old days of pre Louise. So here I am in the studio by myself. Yeah. So today's guest is someone who we're really excited to have on the Speedway Insider podcast. Someone who we've sort of had the opportunity to interview as part of his New Zealand tour. As part of the International Super Saloon series, raced at Waikaraka Park on Saturday night. This weekend is the main event at the Robertson Prestige International Speedway in Palmerston North as part of the International Super Saloons at the ENZED Teams Championship. So he is one of the top young talents coming through American dirt late model racing, and someone who is making a name for himself on one of the toughest touring schedules in the world. Ethan Dotson is from Bakersfield, California, and he is about to start, or has actually already started, at Volusia a few weeks ago, his second full-time season on the World of Outlaws late model tour. So this will be his third year with ASD Motorsports, driving the number 74X, and his second year committing to the full national tour. So Ethan's racing journey started back home in Bakersfield before making a big call early in his career, packing up and heading to the American Midwest to chase his racing full-time dream. The move quickly paid off in the dirt modified ranks, where Ethan became one of the serious contenders, collecting up multiple wins and a few major results. Not long after, he stepped up into dirt late models, which sit right at the top of dirt racing in the US of A. In 2025, Ethan took on the full World of Outlaws late model series schedule for the first time as a rookie. Across the season, he scored his first series win at Farmer City Raceway and finished inside the top 10 in the final points standing, that's pretty impressive when you consider that tour has some of the most experienced drivers in the sports. Off the back of that rookie season, Ethan has locked in plans to return for a year two on the World of Outlaws tour, once again at ASD Motorsports. We'll hear more from him, but I'm sure his goals are pretty simple this year, so be looking to carry on the form from last year and be a more regular visitor in Victory Lane. I think what makes Ethan really interesting to talk to from a New Zealand perspective is that, first of all, he's here at the moment. Competed at his first New Zealand meeting on the weekend at Waikaraka Park, which is somewhere that's had a lot of work done to it in the off-season. So it'll be interesting to hear what he thought of the place and the track and everything like that. He's experienced a meeting in a completely different car to what he's used to. So it'll be interesting to see what he has to say about our cars here in New Zealand. But also, I think a good way to look at his, how we do things down here in New Zealand, and it is different to America. So it'd be interesting to hear what he likes and what he maybe would improve. So we'll talk to Ethan. I'm looking forward to talking to him about his journey from California to the national stage and what life on the Outlaws tour really looks like. The time on the road, the hours in the truck, and driving to tracks and up and down the country. So it'd be interesting to hear what he's got to say about that. And also, I think what he took away from his first meeting here in New Zealand. So the Ethan Dotson bonus episode here on the Speedway Insider. You're listening to the Speedway Insider, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of Speedway in New Zealand. Hosted by three-time New Zealand champion Christian Hermanson and Ruapuna's own Louise Smith. The Speedway Insider will give you a unique perspective by going behind the scenes of everything Speedway to find and tell the stories that you won't hear anywhere else, by talking to competitors, car owners, decision makers, and anyone who makes the sport tick. Thanks for listening. Here's the latest episode. Feels like you're getting launched into space, but yeah, cool. All right, Ethan Dotson, great to be joined by you. So look, we'll kick things off with the 5 and 5. First question is, what is your racing number and how did you choose it?
74X. The 74 part was for my dad, and then the X is the team I'm driving for now. It's kind of their go-to deal. My car owner likes an X, so.
So here in New Zealand, we'll interrupt it, but here in New Zealand, we have a letter for a track. But does the X actually stand for anything, or is it just because it's cool.
And I think it's just because it's cool. My car owner, he raced a little bit, and he was always 2X, so I put my number on there, and he just put an X on there. But yeah, it was on my receiver the other night. One of the track officials was like 74X. They're like, we've never heard that before. We've never heard an X before. So I figured it must have been
Yeah,
different
yeah.
around here
That
or
was one of
something.
my thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's like an A for Auckland or P for Palmerston North, but yeah, there's no X here in New Zealand. So okay, it's just because it's cool. That is cool. When you're not driving a race car, what's your daily driver?
Chevy pickup.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Third question is, who is your favorite athlete outside of motorsport?
Probably like I watch some rodeo stuff. Probably like Stetson, right? He's a
Nice.
bull
No idea who
rider
that
and
is. Sorry, but
fair.
I was hoping you.
Bronc
I was
riders.
hoping you might say like an American football player or something like that.
No, 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 no. I don't watch football much.
Okay. Fourth question is, what is your go-to racetrack meal?
Like at the racetrack, probably just a hamburger. I mean, a lot of the places the food's not very good, so try to eat somewhere else. But every once in a while, there'll be a good steak sandwich or something somewhere.
It's pretty rare. Same here in New
Yeah,
Zealand.
yeah, I
Um,
bet.
and then the fifth question is, if you could change one rule in Speedway tomorrow, which rule would you change?
Probably for us would be. It's a good question.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of little things. Probably the droop rule we have in late model racing. What I do, we have a droop rules. Probably that.
Okay, Ethan Dotson, that's the 5 and 5. The Speedway Insider is brought to you by Auto Super Shops. Auto Super Shops is New Zealand's most trusted network of mechanics with over 120 premium workshops from Northland to Invercargill. They look after all makes and models, whether it's your everyday ute, family car, classic, hybrid, or even a new EV. At Auto Super Shops, you get more than just a service. You get quality workmanship backed by MTA-approved technicians who use the latest diagnostic tools and genuine parts. They offer a full range of services, from routine warrant fitness checks and regular servicing to tyres, batteries, air conditioning, and advanced vehicle diagnostics. Every Auto Super Shop was chosen as the premium automotive centre for its local community. There you'll find friendly staff, clear communication, and a no-surprise approach every time. Keep your car safe, reliable, and on the road. Jump on their website, autosupershops.co.nz, to find your nearest certified mechanic. Auto Super Shop, we're New Zealand's mechanic. A big shout out to our friends at Fastmaster, Alistair and all his team. Established in 1992, Fastmaster is one of New Zealand's leading distributors of everything that you need to operate at a high level when you're behind the wheel. The team at Fastmaster stock brands like Marina Racewear, RI Stand 21 Ogio, Inferno Armour, and of course their newly developed Ibex tyre treatment and Dirt Slayer tear-offs. I've been a customer of Alistair's and Fastmaster now for over 6 years, and I get everything that I need from Alistair. I run a custom marina suit, have an RI helmet, and get all my Dirt Slayer tear-offs from him during the season as well. Service that Fastmaster and Alistair provides goes above and beyond to make sure that you're all sorted for Saturday night. One time, before I made my sprint car debut for HLR, Alistair had the shop open for me at 11 p.m. to grab a new helmet and everything I needed to go racing the next. So check out their website, fastmaster.co.nz, or stop into their new location in Albany on the North Shore. You get to see our podcast is made today. It's all just smoke and mirrors. Okay, not a big football, because you're from Bakersfield, so you're from California. Maybe Bakersfield be like, I don't know, the Rams, and maybe I don't know. 49ers?
The
No,
49ers,
49ers a
yeah.
bit further north.
Yeah, they're in San Francisco quite a bit of ways from where I grew up, but yeah, I just never was big into football really, or sports for that matter. I like Supercross and rodeo stuff is what I watch. UFC.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. I heard today a random stat about rodeo. there's any rodeo event in America, it doesn't matter where it is, there's a million people watching it, whether that's like in the grandstand or like on TV at home, a mix of both. But a million people watch any rodeo event, like any level. So I thought that was kind of mind blowing stat.
Yeah, it's pretty big in America, I would say.
Yeah, so it's cool. Sweet. Okay, well, we're joined by Ethan Dotson, who is here in New Zealand at the moment as part of the International Super Saloon series. He's ran at Waikaraka Park on Saturday night. Went pretty well, I think, from memory. And this weekend headed to the NZ Superstock Teams Champs in Palmerston North at the Robertson Prestige International Speedway. Ethan Dotson, welcome to the Speedway Insider. Great to have you.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're actually our first international guest, so that's that add that to your racing resume.
Yeah, I feel special now.
Yeah, no, we're glad to have you, and yeah, I think for a lot of us who are absolutely diehard sort of speedway people, we've watched your rise to the World of Outlaw series and all that sort of thing. But I guess for a lot of Kiwis who don't have a subscription to the online streaming services, who just tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Ethan Dotson?
Driver of the 74X ASD Motorsports Longhorn late model. Started out racing modifieds and just kind of went up through the ranks in that stuff and just got some opportunities to race some late models for some people and just kind of always been a dream of mine to be able to do it full time and just kind of barely getting where I can do it full time. So now just kind of not focus more on winning races and stuff like that. So
Awesome. And this year is going to be your second year on the World of Outlaws tour. Last year was a pretty impressive rookie year with a win and a top 10 finish in the points. So I guess what's the goals for this year?
yeah, it'll be my second year. Yeah, last year was it had ups and downs, a lot more downs than ups, but just had a kind of a bad year, just hurting motors and just stuff like that. Just one of them years nothing could go right. But yeah, no, this year I think a little more prepared and a little better idea of what we need to do and stuff. So yeah, I think we got a lot better shot of winning more races and being in contention more often.
Yeah, am I right in saying it was one of ASD's sort of first seasons on that national tour as well? So
Yeah, yep. Yeah, we raced. I started 2024, kind of the end of the year, started driving for them, and then so yeah, we finished that out, and then kind of just went out to start running a tour last year, and then we'll do it again this year, and hopefully many more years to come.
yeah, well, we hope so for you too. So I guess the kind of the question that rolls on from that is the difference between sort of I guess racing at a regional level and then stepping up to that big tour. I guess maybe you guys found out the hard way last year, but by the sounds of it, but yeah, what are the biggest differences between making that step up?
Just a lot of it, like, is whenever you're racing a regional deal, if you're kind of struggling, you can peel off and take a weekend off and go kind of regroup and go test and try to get better. Or if you hurt a motor or whatever, you get a little more. You can go to a track that you're better at or whatever. Where the national level deal, you kind of have a set schedule on where you have to be and so whenever you do get to struggling and you get behind on motors and stuff, you got to keep going and you don't really have any time to regroup. It's just tougher on a grind and stuff like that. So that was the biggest deal is just like whenever we kind of got in a slump and we're struggling, you gotta go to some other racetrack you've never been to before and you don't really have any time to, you know what I mean, kind of regroup and go test and try to sort out your problem.
Yeah, so and I suppose as well because you're running so many just more meetings, so a lot more volume as well. So in terms of motors and stuff like that, what is the program? How often do they get a refresh? How many motors in the program? How many cars in the program? What is run us through that? What does that look like?
So we have about 5 motors and 3 to 4 cars, and you have 2 race ready cars in the rig, and then 1 motor in the cabinet, and then usually one in rotation, getting freshened and stuff. And this year, like I said, we just had some bad motor luck, so we were kind of usually had 2 at freshen, and then you always have a car or 2 at the shop sitting in case you wreck one, and got to just pill off and get a fresh car and come back. But yeah, so I'd say around usually everybody's got 3 to 4 cars and around 5 to 6 motors.
Yeah, wow. It's different to us here in New Zealand because I mean, compared to that scale, I mean, we're basically weekend warriors, and if we race week to week, and if we wreck a car, maybe you're off for a month. So it's that's where all these questions kind of come from. So it's kind of interesting to hear that perspective. But all the motors, are they done in house, or is that sort of shipped out to someone, or how does that work?
Now, so we run Clements Motors. They're about 2.5 hours from us in South Carolina, and so they do all our motors. And then we have Longhorn Chassis. They're at about 2.5, 3 hours from us too. So yeah, it's pretty. We're in a good location for that. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Everything's not too far away, and whenever we need stuff, we can pop over and get it pretty easily. So very fortunate for that.
Yeah, it seems like a real hub of motorsport. That kind of both the Carolinas, really, isn't it, on the East Coast there?
Yeah, yeah, Mooresville and like Charlotte's pretty impressive. If uh if you need anything motorsports wise and you can't find it there, then they don't have it.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
um, I guess interested in the journey too. How you got to be on a national tour. So you mentioned before you came through modifieds, and run us through that. How many years, and what I guess what cars did you come through to get to ultimately late models?
Yeah, so I started racing whenever I was about 15 and then raced like a called like a sport mod, like a 2 link 602 crate motor. Raced those for about a year and then started racing modifieds, and they're the 604 crate with a 4 bar suspension. Did that for a couple years, and then whenever I don't know, probably 4 years ago now, I got hooked up with Steve Arpin. He's the owner of Longhorn Chassis, and uh, raced some of their modifieds for them, and started racing some UMP cars. They got a little better tires and motors and stuff, and so I did that for them for about 2 years, and which really just helped me had some success with them, and helped me meet a lot of the late model people just from being at that shop and being around them. So got an opportunity with a Chris Bragg guy out of Texas, had a late model guy I actually used to race modifieds with, and raced for him for probably a little under a year, just kind of pick and choose schedule, nothing full time. And then got an opportunity to race at Coltman Farms Racing there out of Georgia, and did that for a couple years or a couple months, a little under a year, and then just wasn't for me, and got hooked up with John Henderson, ASD Motorsports, who I'm driving for now, and just man, we just clicked right off the bat, and just built a really good relationship. I'd say we're probably better friends. Sometimes I forget that he is my car owner and we're not just friends. Yeah, so that's
sounds
been
sounds
super
sounds
cool.
familiar. Yep.
Yeah, been super cool to do that with him, and just yeah, been having a lot more fun, and he gives me everything I need to win, and just trying to put all the pieces together and getting myself better and stuff so we could be in contention more. But I really like the direction it's going. I think we got the next year or so. I think it's going to be really good for us.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I guess in terms of car owners and that sort of thing, is car owner really involved at the track, or what's his sort of deal when you're at the track together?
He's really involved. He obviously runs a business and stuff, so he's not at the races with us full time. But you know what I mean. As far as involvement, he's very involved, and we talk a lot, and just through that, and he watches every night. But and then we come back, work out of the shop, and he's there quite a bit. So yeah, but he's super involved. Summer, you know what I mean. He gives me the reins once we go on the road and stuff like that. But we talk through a lot of the difficulties.
Yeah, sounds familiar. That's good. I guess you sort of mentioned before the tools to win and that sort of thing. I guess be interesting to hear your sort of take on the biggest differences and what do you need at that top level. It's so competitive in the Outlaws and all the series that run the top late models in the States. So I guess when you say the tools to win, well, I mean Longhorn is a well known chassis brand, obviously, and all that sort of thing. But what are the tools to win, and what does that look like?
So obviously, Longhorn chassis they're probably the best chassis in the market, hands down. So definitely one of those, and then good motors. You know what I mean? We got which we have, and then but there's just so much work that goes into it. I mean, being racing sprint cars and stuff, but there's just so much work. So having good crew, you know what I mean? Like there's no way I could do it by myself. So we have 3 guys full time. It's all they do, and yeah, that's probably one of the main keys to being able to be successful in late model racing. You know what I mean? There's just so much work that goes on from tires
Mm.
to suspension to bodies, just everything has to click to be able to win. And yeah, and we made the switch this year to Olin shocks and through Longhorn, and that's really helped us as well. So just yeah, I'd just say just you know what I mean, that and like my car owner's very good and laid back, and that's important. You know what I mean? If you get you know how it is, a car owner that's on your case the whole time, and it makes it hard to do your job. So yeah, I'd say this year's I feel the most confident I got all those tools.
Good. And new crew chief this year too. I was reading as well. How does that sort of fit in?
Yeah, yeah. Cody came on with me the beginning of this year, so that's super exciting for me. You know what I mean? Just kind of I haven't been around the late model scene very long, and he has a lot of years and experience. So just yeah, him helping me and just showing me things we need to do. You know what I mean? A lot of things that I was doing wrong and stuff, just with everything. So yeah, that's super big, and I'm super excited for it.
Yeah, and he's a guy who's worked with some of the biggest names in late model racing too. But
Yep, for sure.
yeah, so that's exciting. Okay, well, the Speedway Insider people are going to be watching out for Ethan Dotson this year. That's for sure.
I appreciate that.
So I guess as well, you came through modifieds and that sort of thing. Seems like they're quite similar in terms of how they work with the 4 bar and all that sort of thing. But I guess what were the biggest differences and similarities? And did you have to change your driving style much or anything like that?
Yeah, so I'd say the biggest thing probably is aero. You know what I mean? The late models are you have twice the tire and twice the body and nose and everything. So it's super cool, but super challenging at the same time. You know what I mean? Like whenever you're racing, you have to put yourself in situations not to blow the nose over and mess up the air and that was probably that's super challenging for me because the modifieds weren't really like that. You know what I mean? You could tuck up under somebody and still be able to turn on entry. Where like late models, if you do that, you're going to blow the nose and wreck. So
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
So
that's super big. And then the tires are big. You can just drive them so much harder and get away with it.
yeah, I didn't realize that you would get aero wash off the back of a late model. That's interesting to hear. That's an insight for me.
Yeah, no, you'll watch the videos now and you'll see it. It's big. Like
Yeah.
they'll blow the nose off. Like our noses are huge, so they'll blow the nose over and you'll be in a world of hurt.
Interesting, yeah, because we always talk about aero wash and sprint cars, obviously, but did not realize that late model guys suffer from that too. So that's good to hear.
Yeah, yeah, very much.
I guess in terms of we've kind of covered a little bit about sort of race weeks and stuff like that, but I guess yeah, for the people at home, what does a race week look like for you? How many meetings are you doing? The miles on the road, that sort of thing. It's not something we're usually that familiar with.
Like weeks, it kind of depends because it'll change. Just depends on the time of the year and stuff. But we run about 95 to 100 races a year.
Wow.
And so we start in Arizona this year. We started in Arizona in January, and we're in Florida the end of January. So pretty much the other side of the start on one side of the country and had to drive straight to the other side. But that's and then we just really you know what I mean. Like we travel a lot. Once in the middle of the year, it gets a little closer and whatnot. But yeah, that's our biggest thing. Is probably travel.
I'll just wait. I'll wait for you to find a spot.
I gotta find a phone charger. I'm at
Yeah.
1% here.
Damn.
We're getting that.
That's
Yeah.
cutting it close. Let me know when you're locked
Yeah,
in.
no, I'm good. I'm sorted here.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Cool. Okay. Damn, that's a lot of travel. I mean, here in New Zealand, we complain about there's a trip we do from Auckland to Tauranga that's about 3.5 hours, and it's maybe 250 kilometres or so, and we're complaining about that. So maybe there's a bit of a reality check there for us here in New Zealand.
Yeah, definitely. We do about Shoot, I'd say I know I've done probably 12 hours between days to get to another track. I did that
Damn.
last year once. We went to Louisiana to Tennessee. It was about 12 hours and
Yeah.
raced the next day.
Damn. Okay, it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Um, I guess in terms of just the other last little bits on the states, any what were the biggest things that you learned? Just being on a national tour. What is the biggest, most challenging thing, or even the most surprising thing that you kind of learned just being on a national tour?
It honestly makes you a lot better. You know what I mean? Just because you're racing with the best guys every night. So I feel like that's really it speeds up your you know what I mean, your learning curve or whatever. But yeah, I would say that and just going to all the different racetracks and stuff. It's just it's super hard, but it's super rewarding whenever you can win and have success doing it.
You ever have any moments when you're lining up next to someone like Jonathan Davenport or someone like that, and you're like, "Holy fuck, that's Jonathan Davenport over there."
Hell no, I just want to kick his ass.
Yeah, just another guy. Get out of
Yeah.
my way.
At the beginning,
Fair
I would
enough.
say I did, just because
Yeah,
I was never around him, but I had to kinda change my thought process really quick, you know what I mean? Just sit there and tell myself, "Hey, I'm better than him," or "I can beat him," you know what I mean? So,
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. No, totally know what that means. What that's like. Um, I guess moving on to your New Zealand experience. Welcome. By the way, I should have probably said that at the start of the show, but welcome to New Zealand. Why New Zealand? What made you? What was the tie up? How'd you end up? Halfway around the world. How did you start your season in Florida a couple of weeks ago? And you've got this little international break here. How did you get here? What was the tie up?
yeah, so uh, Jono, a guy that used to work on part of our team in the States, he's from here, so he kinda connected me and Ben, and he wanted Jonah was been trying to get me to come since I've met him to come check you guys out. So, and I've never been here before, so I was like, shoot, that'd be a cool experience. So, yeah, I got to chatting with Ben, and it just kind of all worked out that Fager was coming and they needed another guy or whatever. So Ben was nice enough to let me drive his car, and yeah, I left from Florida, flew out of there uh, Tuesday, and then got here, and then I'm gonna fly straight back from here and land Tuesday morning about 5 a.m. and race that night.
Wow,
So,
back in Florida.
yeah, yep, we go back to
Yeah.
Volusia for a week.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. That's pretty hectic too. Before you came to New Zealand, what did you know about New Zealand? Did you know anything about the Speedway here? Are you surprised there's Speedway here and it's all kind of American based?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't really know anything, you know what I mean? Just apart kind of from what
just
Jono has
what just
told
what
me and
Jono's
whatnot.
told you. Yeah.
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 So I had no really idea of what to expect. So I think the craziest thing is driving here on the road, you know what I mean? Like in a car, being on the opposite side and
Yeah.
stuff. Like I've almost crashed 10 times. Like I pull out and going down the wrong side of the road and I'm all screwed up. I go to get in on the wrong side of the pickup and that's been the craziest thing.
That's funny. You know what? You're probably still not the worst driver in Auckland, even if you are driving on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah.
um, I guess yeah, you've done one meeting here so far. So you had Waikareca Park on Saturday night. That's not sure if you sort of know, but it's a significant venue because it's undergone so much change in the off season. You obviously never run on it before, so you probably you wouldn't know what it was like. But what were your thoughts? It was hella bumpy. But what were
Yeah.
your thoughts?
The wall and the catch fence is the most impressive I've ever seen at any racetrack, honestly. Like they've spent a lot of money on that and it's super nice facility with the pits and everything. And yeah, the track got a little rough and we didn't have the best luck there. We ripped out the 4 bar plates in qualifying, so kind of cut our night short. But yeah, no, it was cool, it was different. It turned out to be a really good race.
Mm.
So that was cool to watch. But yeah, no, it was, definitely wasn't what I was expecting, I'll say that, but, yeah, no, it was little narrow and flat, a lot flatter than what we race on in the States.
Yeah, which is funny because they've added probably 2 meters and added probably 6 degrees of banking. So can you imagine
Yeah,
what it
it
was like?
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it would still be the least banked track I think I've ever been on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny, yeah. Was that because I mean, u us in the sprint car, we were right on the fence, but, did it feel fast? What were your sort of thoughts?
Yeah, yeah, it felt faster than you know what I mean. The cars are a little heavier and have bigger tires than what I run and stuff. So it was just kind of a different feeling than I'm used to. But yeah, it was yeah, the speed was good, and I don't know the track was a little rough, but I kind of like that. You know what I mean? It makes the racing better and and makes people make mistakes, and you can kind of switch up lines and stuff to make something happen.
Yeah, a little bit of character, but you guys probably would never get a track that bumpy, I'm guessing, in the States.
But yeah, sometimes we do for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Sure. And you had speaking of tyres actually, you had a little moment, after hot laps where, one caught fire. That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
pretty exciting.
Yeah, I had a right rear tire catch on fire while I was sitting there, and yeah, that was I had a very eventful night, let's put it
You
that way.
did. You went on
Yeah,
an adventure as we would say here in New Zealand, but,
for sure, for sure.
you had Kai Blight was, jumped out of his car and was waving at someone, and then
Yeah, yeah, he
the,
was he was saving me there,
and
then
then
I was as I was getting out, the corner officials were tripping over each other, getting out of the barrier. Yeah,
yeah.
it was an ordeal for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and the actual putting it out wasn't a big deal. It was obviously flat by the time
No,
they
no.
got to it, but
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
It was you did have a bit of an adventure, I guess. The good news for you is that, Palmerston North Speedway is actually narrower and flatter, so,
Oh, nice, nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you can believe it's narrower, but, it's like racing on a little footpath down at Palmy. But maybe we'll follow up with another interview next week, after to see how you thought of Teams Champs because it's gonna be an outrageous event. It'll be interesting to see what you think. I guess in terms of the cars, how was the car? You just mentioned the tires, but in terms of what you race, compared to what you race in the States, what were the differences? How did you feel?
Just like a lot heavier, and the tires are a little bigger. Um, just like kind of a lot more movement on the tire, like kind of bigger sidewall and stuff, and just a little less power and not as aero dependent and stuff like that. So, but other than that, they have like a 4 bar and kind of the same shocks and springs we run. Just kind of the weight and the engine. It was a fuel injected engine, and I've never ran anything like that, so it was a little different, but it was a
Yeah.
cool experience.
Yep. Yep, and I guess it's good quality gear that you've got there too as well with it's a
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah. Ben's got good stuff.
yeah, I think anything that you learnt from Saturday night that you'll take back to your World of Outlaws tour this year?
I think I learned that I can get out of the car pretty fast if I catch on fire, so hopefully I won't need to do that. And yeah, no, anytime you race, you learn something. So yeah, no, we'll hopefully run a lot better this weekend and have something to go home a little more excited about.
Yeah, certainly hope so. I guess the other question I had for you was you just mentioned before there was a stock car teams race on Saturday night too. Have you ever seen anything like that before?
Just a little bit last weekend. I went up and watched a little bit, and they kept telling me that that was nothing. Next weekend would be way
Yeah.
crazier. So shoot, I'm kind of excited to watch those. Honestly.
Yeah. It's, when the checkered flag drop, probably $2 million still goes across the line, and it's still Dodgem cars. So it's,
That's crazy.
yeah, it's pretty intense. But, yeah, it will be interesting to see what you think of Teams Champs. Like I say, it's a whole different level. But, I guess, yeah, any last, any last thoughts about New Zealand? You obviously haven't been here very long, but, any other thoughts about New Zealand? You gonna come back? Can we expect you back?
Yeah,
Depends
yeah,
how this
definitely.
weekend
Actually,
goes.
me and Ben were just talking about that. I'd definitely come back. Yeah, no, the people here have been super nice and welcoming, and I've spent some time in downtown Auckland and stuff, and it's been cool. So, and I think there's a lot more areas that I haven't seen that I'd like to. So, yeah, no, I'd definitely come back.
Great. Well, that's good to hear. I guess, just one last thing, a little plug for yourself. How can Kiwi fans, follow Ethan Dotson this season, when you go back to the States?
So I have Ethan Dotson Racing on Facebook, and ASD Motorsports also has a page that they do a lot of updates and stuff, and then I have Ethan Dotson 74X on Instagram, and ASD Motorsports also on Instagram. We post quite a bit. So yeah, no, we'd love to get some new fans and some people following us.
Awesome. Wow. Coming to New Zealand's a big one. We're pretty, I don't know if you've noticed, but we're pretty crazy about Speedway in this country.
Yeah, definitely.
And
I like it.
I think you'll get it'll be interesting to see what you think of teams. Hopefully I'll catch up with you afterwards and see what you think. In the meantime, thanks for joining us. It's been a short little interview. You got some things to obviously do. Prep your car. You're off to Palmy tomorrow, I think it is.
Yeah, we're gonna go up and what's the downhill deal? What do they call that? We're gonna go kind of make
The luge.
a day out of it. Yeah, we're gonna go to the luge tomorrow and do
okay.
that. So I'm excited for that and yeah, we're just gonna kind of ease our way over there.
Nice. Well, my advice for the luge is wear long pants and long sleeves because the luge somehow always, even though it's non-contact, it always turns into full contact. So for some reason,
I like it.
yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, enjoy your time in Palmy, and yeah, hopefully the racing is a bit less of an adventure down there, and a few more results.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Very good. Yeah. No worries. Ethan Dotson, thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Speedway Insider Podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you drop us a comment or a message about this episode. Follow us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts to get the latest episodes straight to your feed. Thanks again for listening.